I'm gonna tell you all how I went from this to this. Kind of a long story, but y'all probably wondering, he had to be beating on the car and this, that, and the other, but there were a lot of contributing factors to what caused that. First, let me start by saying, yes, I did beat on the car, but who doesn't want to beat on their car, their street car, when they take it out riding and stuff. We're not always expecting our stuff to blow up, but anyway, I do have a couple of clips of me just beating on the car, and just about every time, this car probably turned 7,000 RPM. Actually, it probably could have turned a lot higher, but the computer for that engine would not allow it to go past 7,000. So that was probably a good thing, and it probably would have been more catastrophic. Anyway, I tell you about the setup. It was basically the original motor that was in the car. So stock bottom end, Fox body motor with the flat top pistons and the 4-valve release in it, not 2 but 4. So it had the 4-valve release, and basically all we did was we put the heads on top of the motor and put a camshaft in and top end. Basically a trick flow top end, stage 1 camshaft, trick flow 170 heads, street burner, no, the track heat intake. Put the track heat intake on it, and that was it. And as a matter of fact, I think that was all I did, because the car still had the stock gear still in there, the 308, and the car pulled pretty strong actually. And mainly it was because of the camshaft, the stage 1 camshaft, being that the load separation was like 112. But anyway, enough of that. I beat on this car for about a year like that before it just blew up. Let's just say I beat on this car about 3 times a week. So I did that for about 3 times a week for a year, and I mean it had been good to me, so I was never expecting anything like that to happen. But one thing that I did not pay attention to was my fuel pressure. If you know much about fuel pressure, especially on cars like this, PSI is gonna be around between 38 to 40 PSI. My PSI gauge was reading 80 PSI. Not good, but I did not pay attention to it. I honestly just felt, I was like, well, I guess I bought a bad gauge. The car ran tremendous, and it didn't give me any issue. So gauge is reading 80 PSI. I'm just driving it everywhere and I'm beating on it, like it ain't a problem. One night, I don't know what I was doing. I decided to just get in my car and just go for a drive. Went for a drive. I'm probably about between 5 to 10 miles away from home. So I go out, I'm at this red light. As a matter of fact, I just put the transmission in my car. I had got a transmission rebuilt because I messed up the synchros in first, second, and third gear. So I did that. I was like, when this light turned green, I'm going for it. So you all know about these small blocks. If they're not balanced correctly, most of the time they're gonna blow up if you turn a high RPM like that. So I had that car to like 7,000. I left, I got it all the way up to 7,000. Went to second and just kept going. It was feeling good. In the next few seconds, boom. I heard a boom, I was still on the gas, but I was getting no response. So I was like, man, I think I just blew this motor. Just automatically assumed it because me knowing how I beat on the car. So I did that, and just so happened I was rolling into a gas station. It was a Circle K. I was rolling into a Circle K, and I mean, I was so lucky that I rolled all the way into the parking lot where I was out of everyone's way. When I got there, I got out the car, I look up the street, I see fluid that's probably 300 to 500 feet long. I don't know what kind of fluid it is, but I look up under the car and I see oil on the ground. I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening. You know, I'm still kind of in disbelief. So I open the hood up and I look down there at the crankshaft, and you know, a crankshaft is basically supposed to be like that. As a matter of fact, I got one. The front of my crankshaft was hanging down like that. Like, yeah, I just screwed up a $3,000 to $5,000 motor. And I couldn't believe it. I called my cousin, I called Pulse TV, called Kino, and I called my dad. Called Kino, I was like, you ain't gonna believe what just happened. I was like, I'm up the street from you, and I just blew the motor. And so he came, he got there before my dad. My dad came with a trailer and a truck to pick the car. That was pretty much it, man. I actually also have clips of the car on the trailer and me looking up under the car, and you can actually see that crank hanging out. And there's a few more clips I believe I have that I can throw in there, but it was terrible, man. We get the car home. I remember that I put a damper on the motor because my motor was vibrating. So I put a new one on, and you know, that's when I took the car down the street. And it had been probably about a week since I did that though. So, you know, I wasn't expecting anything. And you know, my dad was like, didn't you put a damper on the car? And you know, asked me like, did I put it on right? I'm like, yeah. I mean, I figured a damper can only go on one way. So put it in, lined it over the keyhole. Besides that, I can't really think of anything else, but I will say this. So fast forward to when we put the 306 in the car. We put the motor together. My dad said, before you put everything on, take an air hose and blow through the fuel line. So blew through the fuel line up under the car, did not see anything come out. Then we took the fuel rail and we blew through the fuel rail. So unfortunately, something came out of the fuel rail when we blew through it, and it flew somewhere. We couldn't see what it was, but we assumed it was dirt or something like that. Blew through it, and it was fast. You know, we looking at each other like, did something come out? And you know, we figured it did. We ended up getting that 306 running. You know, it ran good. I was mind blown when I looked at my fuel gauge and saw that it was reading 40 PSI. I do believe that it was a contributing factor to my motor blowing up, because, you know, fuel trying to get through, making the pressure gauge go up like that. If you have a situation like that where the fuel pressure gauge is reading just so high that it's not supposed to read like that. And unless you got like a high horsepower turbo car or something like that, you know. But other than that, you shouldn't have that kind of PSI. That was a good lesson that I learned. So when you're putting your engine together, not only do you have to make sure you're keeping the engine clean, but all of the other components that's sending fuel, sending air, and all of that, you have to make sure that's clean too. Because that one little speck of dirt is probably what caused my engine to blow up. So you have to look out for that. Just be careful when you building this stuff, man. So that's really it, man. As far as I know, you know, like I said, the engine was a good running motor. It was just that one little thing that caused me a $3,500 to $5,000 motor. Until next time, see you guys in the next episode. Please subscribe. More content coming soon. Peace.